This VTuber agency is 100% cooked. After members go mask off, by Rift says desu. As far as I'm aware, this is about Rima. I think this is mostly about Rima Evenstar. Which she's such a sweetie for what I've seen of her. Her videos are high quality. She always says that nobody should get harassed. She holds the community to a high standard. From what I've seen on Twitter of her, she's such a cutie. So I don't know why you would go after her. Let's just see.
Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we're going to be looking at a situation involving a VTuber agency and some drama.
V&U, official VTuber agency. Wouldn't be the first time that it would be a fucked up VTuber agency, huh?
Involving its members. Now, because this story is a bit convoluted, I want to give you guys a too long didn't read version of events to serve as a sort of roadmap for what we're looking at here. So basically, we have this...
I've never heard of this agency. Probably because it's a really small one. 8.5k followers. Sounds like a small one. Probably dying, I would assume already. Especially with controversy. Usually big controversies are usually the death of small VTuber agencies. I'm interested.
This VTuber agency who has a history of greedy business practices. Recently there was a leak where there was a document shared that allegedly belongs to this organization that shows a assembly line of VTubers in their agency who will be announcing that they're leaving the company.
Ooh, stuff got leaked. Interesting. Okay.
In the near future. Well, some of those start turning out to be true based on this leaked document, and a YouTuber decides to start investigating by looking at a graduation announcement stream.
And I think that VTuber was Rima. 100% had to be Rima. Definitely.
From one of those VTubers on that list. What ends up happening is that stream was immediately privated because they found out the YouTuber was watching, and then that member of the agency decided to make a call-out post against those actions, which then led to a bunch of harassment and even death threats from fans and even other members of the agency. So as you can see, it's quite a mess. So let's begin with the agency itself and the history they have that caused a lot of controversy. So you have V&U Official, the VTuber agency, Virtual and Universe, VTuber and U.
Bait. At the end of the day, it's a company, so it's not VTuber and U. It's just VTuber agency. It's just Virtual Universe here. A lot of these small agencies and groups have been dying because they cannot stand the test of time because the market is just oversaturated. And with the graduation of a lot of VTubers that are part of this agency, was only a matter of time.
Whatever that means. But last year they found themselves in some big controversy because of this former member named Amano Sarafi. As you can see, they have graduated, their accounts are all shut down. Well, what happened is back in March, there was a series of...
Okay, graduated, okay. Makes sense. It's also, like, seeing all these small VTuber agencies and groups dying makes me realize that if I ever get the chance to join one, hell no! Hell no! I would never!
Of announcements from V&U because basically this VTuber had gone pretty much silent on their accounts. They come out and say that basically there's issues between them and Sarafi, and they're gonna have to take legal action against her. Then, a few days later, they make another announcement saying that they're terminating the contracts of Amano Sarafi, and also they try to basically throw her under the bus and say that she was difficult to work with, and they tried to basically come up with a plan. They were trying to give her a number that she would have to pay in order to leave and all this stuff. Well, unfortunately for them, this whole series of posts would blow up in their face because Amano, on her past life account, basically the account she used before she
Alien Mixture SVA. Why do I feel like I've seen this VTuber somewhere before in the past? Interesting.
Moved over to the agency account, is now free to talk about this because the contract is terminated. There's no longer an NDA that she's going to respect. So she goes on this account, Alien Mixture, which she's active on these days, and she shared a Google Doc sharing everything that was going on with this dispute with the company. And also, allegedly, there was a document, a VTuber contract from the agency shared with Legal Mindset, who is a channel we have.
Legal Mindset. Bro is everywhere at this point. Bro is the YouTube legal guy now for everything. Crazy.
We have talked about even very recently on this channel for his coverage of the Johnny Somali trial. But the contract is absolutely insane. One of the greediest, shadiest contracts. Very, very weird stuff.
Hey, wait, I want to read those. I want to read that. Minimum work requirement of 3 streams a week for at least 2 hours per stream. That's not bad. Plus at least 3 social media posts per week can be updated during monthly consultations with company having final say. So long as it's reasonable. Okay. Interesting. So, okay. Broadcaster indemnifies company of any damages that arise from streamer. Broadcaster needs to check from streams. They're right, arise from streams. Broadcaster needs to check with the company before communicating or working with anyone about stream-related stuff. Makes sense, yeah. Agreement has a duration of 1 year. There's a trial period of 4 months near the end, of which either party can terminate. The company may, in consultation with the broadcaster, replace this agreement with one more advantageous monetarily for broadcaster before this agreement ends it.
One of the greediest, shadiest contracts. Very, very.
Ronaldo and Speed both went live. Nice, nice. It's okay. It is alleged that this is only the agreement. If that's the case, since this contract was supposedly signed September 15, 2022, Serafi would have been working on the no contract. Update Serafi acknowledged that she is under a 3-year contract. Okay, that's fine. That seems fine. I've not seen anything that's crazy. I've not seen anything that's crazy yet. For the first 4 months, that trial period thing, assume it's the period of the signing the agreement, but before debut, broadcast is paid 500 USD a month for the first 3 months, and 2.5k for the last month. Income after that is not specified in the agreement, but rather shall be determined through mutual consultation. Okay, seems a little low, but okay.
Weird.
Need to be slow. Agreement also explicitly tries to claim that this is not a labor employment contract, but similar to the Nichi-Sanji contract, has stipulations of exclusivity. If you do things like Nichi-Sanji, you might be cooked. Just saying, if you do things like them, I don't know about that one. If agreement is terminated for cause by fault of broadcaster agrees to pay back all compensation they've received plus direct expenses incurred for the performance of VTuber work, replacement personnel, input costs, and damages. If they can't calculate the total for that, the company can choose 5 times compensation received. Okay.
Stuff.
Non-compete with third party and NDA for 3 years after termination of contract. Interesting. So, assuming that that's a shady one. You know why? Assuming that things got bad, right? They can't not talk for it for at least 3 years after the termination. Okay.
There's a non-compete clause and an NDA for 3 years after the termination of the contract, but this one kills me, right? If this agreement is terminated for cause by fault of broadcaster, broadcaster agrees to pay back all compensation they've received plus direct expenses incurred for the performance of VTuber work.
Wait, so now that he reads it, does that mean that if you get terminated on your and it is your fault, you have to pay back everything?
Replacement personnel input costs and damages. If they can't calculate a total for that, the company can choose 5 times compensation received.
And if they can't calculate that, it's gonna be 5 times what it originally was. What is going on?
So if you can't figure out the exact number you need to pay them, they'll make one up for you, and then they'll multiply it by 5, and you have to pay it. Absolutely insane stuff. But yeah, that's what she was facing. Here's a
Who would even join that? Like, I'd be reading that, I'd be like, nope, I'm out of there. Who would even... Who would... What? You must be crazy to sign a contract like that.
video from False ID going in detail about all this, and she shared some of this information on stream, on her past life account, and also shared some of these documents publicly. And basically what happened is, in the final 2 months of her active times with the company, she was not compensated at all for those 2 months, including, during that time, a birthday subathon where she made around $4,000, where she didn't receive a single penny.
Baby Niji? Is that what this is? Small Niji Sanji? Chibi Niji? What do you call this? Man.
From that stream or anything from the final 2 months. So she basically, because of reasons like that and some creative differences and all that and wanting to move on, she tells them that she wants to break her contract and leave the company. Well, they say, cool. We'll do that under one condition. You have to pay us a certain amount of money, some compensation. That compensation being the equivalent of $455,000.
What the fuck? Oh my... Go back. Oh god.
Amount of money, some compensation. That compensation being the equivalent of 455,000 US dollars.
Okay. 400. Okay.
So basically they said you have to pay a lot of money, some compensation. That compensation being the equivalent of
455,000
US dollars.
Assuming that they did them times 5, that means the original still would have been 91k. 91k for a small VTuber. What the yo? Oh my god, that would effectively kill you. That is pretty much that is pretty much blackmail. Isn't it? At least some form of it. Like, if you leave my company, you have to pay this much. What the fuck?
So basically they said you have to pay that, then we'll let you leave. Which is insane, obviously. So she asked for an itemized list of everything, and they obliged. They sent her an itemized list that was shared publicly, and it's absolutely insane. So besides the greatly exaggerated costs and things like that, there was also some business expenses that had nothing to do with her. They're basically trying to pass on their own bills to her, but the most outrageous part, just to give you an idea of how insane this list is, there were parts listed as etc., demanding tens of thousands of dollars.
She asks for an exact list. You give her a list, and then etc. What does etc. mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? You're asking her to pay 455,000 US dollars. And she asks you, provide me a list of what were the things that I had to pay. And you still don't manage to do that.
They couldn't even make up a reason for that money. They just said, for etc. Absolutely insane stuff. So basically, she lawyers up, and her lawyer can't even believe what he's saying. Basically, it looks like they had a PR team and a legal team that they found off of Craigslist. Like, it's absolutely insane how they were running this company. And the lawyer tells, now, of course, Alien here, that you're not going to pay anything. And that's duh. And they basically told this company that you have to come to the United States if you want to pursue any sort of action there because you don't like that she's breaking the contract. And of course, we know that they didn't do that. She's back on her past life account.
Yeah, thankfully she didn't pay anything. Thankfully she didn't pay anything. Thankfully she lawyered up, because man, if I had to pay 455k for terminating a contract, they can't even provide me with what I have to pay for? Hell no.
Making content. And basically, it was a really bad look for the company. That's basically why I'm telling you this. I'm laying out the type of company we're dealing with here. And now we're going to look at the dysfunction among some of its members. So what happened recently that generated all this? Well, it largely began with legal mindset, once again. So apparently someone in the company is leaking documents to legal mindset.
Okay. Legal mindset gets all that stuff, huh? He gets all that stuff. Crazy. Oh, this company's cooked. Oh, this is all the graduations. Interesting. This company's cooked.
And some of them are a very bad look for the company. As he says here, leaked VNU graduation schedule looking very Niji-sanji. And you can see in here, there's basically an assembly line of graduation announcements and graduation streams. And if you're not familiar with
yeah, 4 people graduating. Actually 5 people graduating. Spectra, Suri, Maeve, Sion, and Echo. Yep. Looking very Niji. The Niji strong at this one.
What graduation means in VTubing terms, it just means you're leaving the company. Okay, so it seems very odd that they have this assembly line of people leaving and it's all pre-scripted. It's just a very odd look. And seeing this list, a YouTuber by the name of Rima.
Yep. Now we get into the good stuff. Okay. It is Rima. The horse girl. She's not a horse. But we call her the horse girl. Just like I'm the orange. But I'm not an orange.
Even Star, someone I highly recommend. She saw this and said, I'm going to do a little research on this and see what's going on with this company, because some of the names on that leaked document list, they were following through on those specific dates. They were starting to make their graduation announcements. It seems like the list is accurate. So she decided to basically tune in for one of these graduation announcement streams from one of the people listed. And things are going fine, but all of a sudden, the stream just goes away.
VAU mass graduation leaked. Taking a look into this plus more as last stream. I didn't get to go through all my topics since my stream kept on crashing. New topics added today. Dead VTuber who came back, left. Okay, that's interesting. So the stream crashed. But why?
The stream has been privated and taken down mysteriously. And that stream belonged to this Spectra Libitina individual who was on that list, like I said. And after they privated the stream, they decided to make this post right here, basically calling out Rima based on the circumstances we just saw, but also on the further circumstances we're going to look at in just...
Please do not reproduce this stream without permission. Thank you. Okay, fuckwit. This is not a members-only stream. If I want to talk about your stream, I will. And there's no legal ground you have on not me talking about this stream. This little line will scare off some people out of respect, maybe, but not all. And I guess either Rima didn't care or didn't see it. Not that she had to be sad about it anyways, but yeah. This little line here does not protect you from people reacting to your stuff and making videos about it. You are not safe.
Just a second, where she says, maybe read the caption next time. Please remember to be respectful to the talents. And basically what she's saying here is this line in the top of the description prevents anyone from publicly...
If you made a members only stream, that would have been a different situation, because then you could have actually done some DMCA stuff, but here this does not work.
Reacting to the announcement, because it says, please do not reproduce this stream without permission. Thank you. Which is an insane thing to try to do. Number one, they don't understand the words they're trying to use here. Reproduce is not the same as react. Reproduce means you're just downloading their stream and then re-uploading it with no changes. That's reproducing in this.
Ah, okay. So even the words were kind of fucked.
Sense of content creation, right? But what they're trying to refer to as reactions, right? They're trying to refer to people reacting to their content. And of course, that is fair use. You are allowed to react to someone's public stream. That's 100% fair use. And basically, they're trying to control the fair use rights of other people by putting this in their description, which, by the way, means absolutely nothing. That does not prevent someone from reacting to this. And as it turns out, Rima didn't even see this, which, again, it doesn't matter if she saw it or not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. She can do it regardless. It doesn't matter.
Because this doesn't mean anything. But this whole thing's very odd because the community, at least at first, was looking at this and saying to the people who said, well, that's, you know, your legal right to react to this. And they would say, well, it's still disrespectful. No, quite frankly, I think it's very disrespectful to make this post that's clearly very snarky and trying to tell people what they can or can't react to. I think that is pretty disrespectful. And on top of that, she wasn't reacting to the stream in a negative way. She was an impartial person just seeing what's going on with this agency and just happened to be live streaming her reaction. But nope, they have this crash out, and this would lead to a lot of people threatening Rima because they knew it was her based on the circumstances, and things would go completely haywire.
Where are we going with this? Are we going to like the deletion threats and stuff?
So other members of VNU would start making comments, including this Misma individual. They said this at the same time the previous post was made, saying this, just landed the craziest stream snipe of my life.
Wait. Is that why Rima's stream started crashing? Cause horse down. And you post this publicly. Is the brain down as well, Misma?
And someone says, was it tense? And then she says, horse down, which is of course referring to Rima. She started off as a horse-themed VTuber. That's what she's always referred to as. So they were clearly talking about Rima with this comment, but this one is not even anywhere near the comment made, or series of comments made by this Tomomi individual who really went full edgelord here.
Why do journalists never do the bare fucking minimum anymore? Hanging and quartering all drama. What the fuck? Hanging and quartering? Edgy or mental retardation. Call it. What the f... Hanging and quartering people because they report on something. If this were any other company, you get terminated for that one.
Here, saying this clearly in response to what happened, saying why do quote-unquote journalists never do the bare effing minimum anymore, hanging and quartering all drama tourists. So let's just back up here for a second. So number one, they're basically saying if you're a drama YouTuber, you need to be tortured and killed. But in this context, it's
technically I am, because I react to this stuff. Right back at you.
Even more insane. They're saying that Rima should be hanged and quartered because she publicly reacted to a public stream in an impartial way. That means someone should be tortured and killed. I don't know what's going on with people on the internet and why they're so publicly unhinged like this. But yeah, just like the previous tweet, by the way, this one would be swift.
Because we give people with mental illnesses a platform that you shouldn't have.
Deleted, and whether or not it was their own choice or their management told them to, it doesn't really matter. They were, of course, deleted. Now, this is where Parrot comes in, who's also a content creator.
Based, Parrot 4chan. Based. Let's see what he has to say.
Talks about VTuber news and drama. He would make this post essentially calling out all the individuals who said these things, these 3 members of VNU. And of course, Tomomi would take the bait with another now deleted tweet saying, okay, I hope this helps entertain you. Please enjoy. Which is a very snarky, again, entitled type of response that started off nice with all the reaction from their community, but eventually people outside of it see this and they see what she's mocking, which is the hanging and quartering comments that she made directed towards Rima, and they go, whoa, what is your deal? Like, what is genuinely wrong with you? And this would, of course, blow up in her face, and then Rima would decide, based on all of this nonsense that had transpired over the past day or so, she would go live to talk about this in a quick 10-minute stream. And this is where the damage control starts. So then this Tomomi individual, in another now deleted reply,
okay, this is getting slightly somewhere where it shouldn't go.
Would basically say that she DM'd Rima personally to try to clear things up, but she ignored it, went live, and then stopped me from being able to comment in her stream. Well, this is kind of crazy, this last part.
Yeah, like no shit. I wouldn't want to talk with you to you if you literally said I should be hanged and quartered. Like, okay. Wow. Incredible. Who would have guessed?
Like I said, the stream was 10 minutes. And clearly this person didn't even watch the 10 minutes because at the very beginning, Rima said, I'm turning off the chat on my end so I don't get distracted while I talk about what I need to talk about. So this doesn't even make any sense. And this beginning part about being ignored, who knows, maybe it wasn't even seen. But why does anyone owe you a response? Like when you tell someone they deserve to be hung and quartered, do you think they should give you the time of day to hear you out? Absolutely not. But again, like I said, the damage control would continue. As pointed out here, she would actually go into the stream and say, hi Rima, smiley face. I sent you a DM about...
Why does that smiley face seem passive-aggressive? Just me. Why does it seem passive-aggressive? Smiley face.
This a while ago. Just wondering if you saw it. And then you can see Kenny here replying saying, from hanging and quartering to hi Rima, smiley face is crazy. And Tomomi says, can someone tell me where I threatened Rima specifically? It's so childish. It's so obvious who you're talking about. And the fact that they're kind of just doubling down, be like, nuh-uh, you can't prove I was talking about Rima. Of course you were talking about Rima. You know, the only thing more cowardly than deleting all these tweets is trying to basically back away from it. Like, if you want to say outrageous, crazy shit on the internet and direct it towards other content creators engaging in fair use coverage, at least...
Wait, she's a tiger, right? So she's a cat. And she deleted stuff. So she's a pussy.
Say it with your chest, and don't be like this, trying to snake your way out of it and avoid any sort of consequences. But of course, like I said, Rima would react in this stream. Like I said, it's only about 18 minutes. I lied, 18 minutes long. where she talks about what's going on, shows more screenshots, and the amount of people in the community supporting Tomomi after making those outrageous comments, encouraging her, saying she's not in the wrong. Even someone down here saying that we should eat people like Rima. Like a very bizarre community. That's all I can
Hopefully not literally.
say. People were absolutely going nuts in the replies about the initial tweets, in the replies about Rima responding to all this stuff. And even I responded very briefly in some various threads about what's going on, and I got death threats. As you can see, this post violated the X rules.
That's crazy. That's crazy. VTubing got too real. VTubing gone wrong, gone violent.
You can tell I take these things very seriously, but it's like you kicked a hornet's nest of spurgs. Like, you call out these people from this agency, and there's like death threats flying around everywhere. These people are very, very strange. I don't know what kind of group of people they fostered, but yeah, they're quite unhinged. And all of this is over some of the weirdest stuff. Again, remember where we started. A YouTuber reacting to a public stream impartially. And we end up with all of this. It's really insane.
So, it started, okay? So it started with a leak that was given to Legal Mindset. Rima started covering this stuff. Rima started covering this stuff. Okay? Okay. Rima started covering this stuff. Gets told, like, first of all, gets her stream sniped, then gets told that she should be hanged and hung and quartered. Ref also received death threats. What the fuck is even going on? This is VTubing, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I say indie VTubing was probably one of the worst things ever happened. Shit got out of hand. Well, technically, basically, it started with the VTuber that had to pay almost 455,000 US dollars. Almost had to pay. Oh my god, this went completely out of hand.
And cringe how all these people are acting just because they're so mad about drama tubers and all of this stuff. And I saw so many people reacting to this and trying to justify threats against people for covering things they don't like. It's so childish and annoying, and it's not going to stop anyone from doing it. It probably just encourages people like me to do it anyways. Because honestly, I didn't even see any of this. I didn't see any of the leaked documents.
Hey yo, that refs just wink at us. Hey yo. Hey, I have an incredible strategy for if you don't for like drama, right? If you don't want to be in the drama video, don't cause drama. Crazy, right? I know.
I didn't see the graduation announcements. I didn't even really know who this agency was until I saw the hanging and quartering comment posted. And that's what started. So if you want to be mad about people like me covering this, I only noticed because of the unhinged comments. And I said, okay, at that point, I'll talk about this because this is insane. But anyways, that's not the end of it. Legal Mindset.
There's more? There's just more. There's just straight up more. Oh god.
Apparently has a bunch of other leaks. And according to another one, apparently they're losing investors over these situations, especially the leaks, because investors are starting to lose their confidence in the company. And man, they should lose a lot more when they see how the actual VTubers themselves are acting. Definitely not a good situation for them, and it's hard to feel bad, especially for the management, given their history and everything that's going on here. But yeah, that's pretty much the situation. Very messy, like I said, but just another case of people being very unhinged and VTuber agencies being completely unlikable whatsoever. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Why does this crazy shit always happen with Western-located VTuber agencies? Okay, Niji Sanji, maybe not fully, but the EN part is, you know, we count it as Western. Wild. But good riddance, Riposo. Nobody cares. Burn with your company, I guess.